It's another active day across our area, and are there still signs for a potential uptick in tropical activity by the end of the month? Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Alrighty, friends, Rusty back at Meteo Mundo. Great to see you on a Thursday. Hope things are well with you. Coming up in this video, we do have several tropical waves continuing to impact the area. Good showers and storms in some spots, including the Bahamas. We'll look at that. Take it island by island for your rainfall forecast outlook. And again, look ahead to why we could see a potential uptick in some tropical potential as we roll towards the end of the month and in early September. As always, I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comment section below what's been going on in your area. Some of you saying that you're finally getting some of that relief in the form of some showers, others still baking, so let us know. We'll start off with our broad perspective, our infrared satellite imagery, the live lightning data here at Meteo Mundo, and a look at our current temperatures on the board, which again on this Thursday afternoon are peaking well above 90 degrees in most spots. So we're 32, 33, even 34 degrees Celsius in some areas. Not everyone, but again, it's roasting out there in a couple of spots. As far as the feels like temperatures, again, what does it really feel like when you step outside? Well, again, if you're not getting a lot of that rain, 105, 110, even 115 Fahrenheit in a couple of spots. Again, 110 is 43 degrees Celsius. But we are seeing a few more areas slightly cooler today, and of course that's thanks to some of that rain. This is the current surface map here on this Thursday. First of all, note again a very unusual stalled out frontal boundary over Florida, continuing to pump in ample moisture through the Bahamas, especially the northwest Bahamas, and rain and storms are breaking out again already. And if you live in Florida like I do, you know it's been a very crummy, wet and stormy day. One tropical wave moving into Mexico out of Central America. Here's a wave that's axis is right over Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, and another tropical wave that's in the eastern Atlantic, and we'll take a look at what's going to be happening as those waves continue to traverse the Atlantic basin. One thing just to note, this is the current Saharan dust. There's a little bit in the western Atlantic here, highlighted by those purples, but there is no big concentration of Saharan dust anymore. Now, still going to be a little bit of haze in the sky, but I'm highlighting this because this is the time of the year when that Saharan dust really begins to thin out and is really no longer a factor as a hindrance to tropical development. And I looked at the next 7 days with this Saharan dust in our area, and there's no big plumes coming. So the Saharan dust is really thinning out, and we might kind of put a cap on it for the rest of the Atlantic hurricane season. Still could be a little bit coming, but no really concentrated plumes in the forecast, at least in the short term. So let's start off with what's going on right now by talking about what's happening in the Bahamas. Showers and storms are beginning to develop at the hour. You can see some of those right there. And again, it has been a very crummy day across central and the southern sides of Florida. We have a lot of viewers here at Meteo Mundo in Florida. And again, really just a nasty day. Started off cloudy and wet and stormy. We've had some funnel clouds. We've had some flooding. That's all been kind of a big issue here. And that activity will continue to move west to east. Again, all of the upper level winds are west to east, so the west coast sea breeze is going to go all the way through the east coast, and that's what's going to eventually push even more storms into places like Walker's Key, Grand Bahama, West End, Freeport, Lucaya, Bimini, Abaco, and back down towards Andros, New Providence, and Eleuthera will eventually catch some of this. Now, the winds are out of the south, so some of this moisture will be lifting up towards the north. Still, the best concentration in the Bahamas is going to be up here. Watch out for heavy rainstorms. Watch out for some funnel clouds as well. Our boaters need to be very cautious out here. Again, more active weather, and it's going to stick around for the remainder of this afternoon and the rest of the weekend into at least the early part of the weekend. Not a lot of change as that front is really not expected to do much over the next couple of days. As I've mentioned, it is drier in the central and southeast Bahamas. However, again, on the northern extent of our tropical wave, we're now getting a few showers and storms for the Turks of the Caicos and the southeast Bahamas towards the Acklins. We're going to try and get a little bit of rain up towards Rum Key and San Salvador and Long Island and Crooked Island and Exuma and Catalan, all with an opportunity, a better chance than what we've had lately as well. Cuba, once again, we'll see isolated showers and storms at the present time, but late afternoon, early evening, these are going to get cranked up once again. Now, the moisture is still somewhat limited in the Northwest Caribbean overall. We're going to catch the opportunity for a couple of showers and storms over Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac. I mean, even we might even have a little brief shower there or just close to the island. And it's the same situation for my friends in Jamaica as well. We've actually had a couple of showers and storms already to develop, and that opportunity will continue to be out there as well. Once again, it's at least good to see that the eastern side of the island has had the opportunity for a little bit of rain. There's not been a lot as of yet, but better quality moisture on the way as that axis of that tropical wave moves off towards the west. So you can see some of that moisture here south and east of Jamaica. That's going to be trying to come in and improve the rain chances in that area. Improving rain chances for our friends across Hispaniola as well. Again, look at that rich southerly flow coming into places like Barcelona and Santo Domingo and Punta Cana that's lifting north, Santiago de los Caballeros and Puerto Plata, Port-au-Prince, Lacaille on the Haitian side, all with decent chances, and this will continue to just get wetter and wetter through the remainder of our Thursday into Thursday night. And again, some of that will lift into the southeast Bahamas and the Turks and the Caicos as well. Now look, this axis of tropical moisture is right overhead of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. We haven't had a ton of rain as of yet, but I'm still very optimistic that we're going to end up to. When I switch over to that beautiful visible satellite imagery, you can see some of those rich, darker clouds with a lot of moisture just north of Anguilla. It's all lifting to the north, but again, everything is developing in this area and should traverse north and west. So we're going to have a good chance for rain. St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John, Virgin Gorda, Jost Van Dyke, Tortola, Roadtown, all of Puerto Rico, Vieques, Culebra. Good rain chances tonight through at least early tomorrow, and I hope you get some because things do dry out a bit after that. Then it's the entire Lesser Antilles. Again, good chance for rain across the area for today. This visible satellite imagery shows you the easterlies are in play. You can see a few lightning strikes. Right now, we've had a little bit of rain in places like Antigua and Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis towards Barbuda. Does the entire island get these showers? No, right? Are they significant downpours? For the most part, no, but we could still see 10, 25 millimeters of rain and maybe even up to 50 in a couple of spots. But breezy conditions as well. As a matter of fact, let me throw on here while I'm here. Let's look at the wind gusts, bring those up, see if we have any at the hour. And again, here's your 24 at St. Bart's. There's a nice 33 mile an hour wind gust in San Juan. So again, as this tropical wave moves through, it is kicking up some 30 plus mile an hour winds. Ponce hit 30 as well. We'll start to see more rain in Dominica and Martinique. Again, you can see that thicker white cloud coverage just beginning to move in, and this will swing south. Now you get Martinique, St. Lucia south, especially Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Moisture slightly more limited here. It's a little bit better actually in the farther northern areas. I'm putting on the enhanced satellite imagery so you get the idea. You can see those thicker cloud tops up in the Leeward Islands, not as much in the Windward Islands as of yet, but east of Tobago and Trinidad, we are seeing some moisture beginning to gather up, and everyone's going to have an opportunity. And everyone's going to have an opportunity for some rain the next couple of days. Now, the thickest of this moisture will continue to traverse its way west, and it will be the western half of the Caribbean with a better shot of rain starting tomorrow for the next couple of days. An area that just continues to get hammered is Panama and Costa Rica. Look at all of the moisture developing over the island, or not the island, but the peninsula there. Panama on over towards Costa Rica. And again, wet weather for San Jose. This is going to drift north towards Managua, Tegucigalpa, Nicaragua, Honduras, good rain chances, and eventually some of this will try and pull into Guatemala and Belize. It'll be slightly drier here, but again, we had some morning showers roll through portions of Belize and already starting to see a few thunderstorms developing in the southern sides of Quintana Roo towards Chechemal, south of the Tulum area, and I do expect more to kind of ramp up later in the day for Cancun and Cozumel or interior sections of the Yucatan. Now, while we're on this beautiful visible and infrared satellite imagery, I'm going to go ahead and just pull out into the whole world, Rusty. I just wanted to do that. I wanted to mention what I put in the thumbnail. We have a nice spin here coming off of the West African coast, but I want you to notice, remember yesterday's video? We talked about how sea surface temperatures here are rather cool and all of the warmer content is down here, right? So we're getting this spin coming off the West African coast, but it's, again, doesn't have a ton of moisture with it right now. It's running into relatively unfavorable conditions. Throw on the water vapor imagery. You can see some drier air to the west of it, Okay, so we do have some moisture coming up, but again, you know, this is the area that really is supporting sea surface temperature wise more tropical development, but nothing has really gotten going right now. And although this moisture is coming into the Windward Islands and the Lesser Antilles in general, embedded within it is some relatively drier air. The best moisture content is off towards the west and with that frontal boundary as well. So in the short term, once again, we're not expecting this to ramp up in a hurry, but waves continue to roll off that West African coast one after another. Things will change, and we'll talk about that coming up. Friends, thanks for liking this video, first of all. Appreciate all the support. If you haven't subscribed to Meteo Mundo, you want your daily forecasts across this area, you want your tropical updates, you found your home. Thank you for being a part of our Meteo Mundo weather community. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for sharing this with your family and friends. And again, thanks for finding ways to support the channel. Now let's get into the forecast. We'll go short term here, talk about what I expect as we head into the weekend. We'll go island by island. So we'll start off with the GFS model. And I was fiddling around with it here just before I'm recording. So I'm gonna slip back and then we'll look at the NAM as well. Because again, I think the NAM has a better handle on a couple of things I wanna highlight. So let me just bring up the GFS real quick. And I do wanna mention again, GFS is a global model. So it goes a little bit farther out as far as coverage area compared to some of the others like the HUR or the NAM, especially down in the Windward Islands. The NAM gets cut off right here. So I wanted to mention for my friends in Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad, Tobago, northern sides of South America, places like Venezuela, Suriname, and Guyana, that your rain chances will be upticked a little bit here as we get into tomorrow and Saturday for some spots. So again, today's 22nd, 23rd, we'll start to see a little bit more moisture coming back in here. So as the moisture exits to the north with the first tropical wave, just a little bit of moisture coming in down in the southern side of the Lesser Antilles overall. You can see the additional rain over portions of South America, Nueva Esparta, my friends in the ABC Islands could clip some of that in Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. I have better rain chances for you, and I'm actually very happy about that, again, as we continue to be very dry. But you can see Trinidad, Tobago, Grenada here over the next couple of days. While nothing will be concentrated, rain chances will be decent. They'll be decent every day to bring us some good showers and to try and cool things off just a little bit as well. So I wanted to highlight that before I switched over to the NAM model, because overall, for the remainder of our area, NAM model, I think, has a little bit better handle on what I expect to be happening here. So let's bring this out for the remainder of the time frame. We'll start it here at about 5 o'clock. Do have the wind arrows on. Interesting. Could leave them on if we wanted to, but that will probably hinder the rendering of it. Those wind vectors. I know what I was looking at, and we can talk about it. I was actually going far out in time just before I came on to see what we were looking at as far as potential spin-ups, and we'll get into that part of the forecast as well. But in the short term, again, these tropical waves are not going to develop. They're not going to be disturbances. They're not going to be depressions, storms, anything like that. Waves are elongated areas of disorganized showers and storms. And that's what brings us the relief from the heat this time of the year. And again, we get about 70 tropical waves coming off the West African coast throughout Atlantic hurricane season. They really begin to ramp up one after another here, starting in August through September and October, which is why when I've shown you our surface maps, we've had 3 and 4 at a time, either moving through the Atlantic or actually affecting our area. So again, rain chances are going to be pretty darn good overall. Highest in the Lesser Antilles, kind of today, tonight, maybe early tomorrow, then fading a bit, but we're still going to have some fast-moving showers with our easterlies. And again, winds that could be 30 to 35. So for our boaters, keep that in mind, especially on the Atlantic side, the facing side of the islands here. And Agata, St. Thomas, St. Croix, Vieques, Culebra, San Juan, passing showers through tomorrow. It does begin to dry out a little bit over the weekend. So the heat will be another big story coming back in as well. Pretty good rain chances for our friends in the Dominican Republic and Haiti over the next couple of days as well. Again, downpours, 25, 50 millimeters of rain, 1 to 2 inches. Fast moving showers. Localized flooding is a possibility in a couple of spots, but I don't expect it to be widespread. Here's your better rain chances, some areas that really need it. First of all, Cuba's rain chances will be exceptional. It's good to see my friends in Jamaica, a lot more green on the map over the next several days. Again, is it going to be 60, 70%? Chances, no, but it's been nice to hear from you guys in the comments. Rusty, we did get at least a shower or two. Not everyone got it. I understand that, but that opportunity will be there. And it's not just, again, for a portion of the island. I expect this moisture to be widespread enough where everyone gets it. So Morant Bay, Port Antonio, Kingston, Linstead, Ocho Rios, Montego Bay, Mandeville, Maypen, Negril, Lucy, all areas about the same opportunity, not really focusing in on one portion of the island. Our friends of the Cayman Islands will continue to experience more moisture as well. Now look, is it a double-edged sword? Absolutely, because you know what happens, right? This tropical moisture is in play and you don't get the rain. Now it feels this humid outside, right? Or those feels like temperatures could be 110 or higher once again. Just overall, and I feel like I've been saying this ever since Belize was able to start to break the drought, they'll continue to have high rain chances for the southern side of the Yucatan, but even Cancun and Cozumel has a better rain chance over the next few days. But you get down towards Orange Walk and Belize City, and then our friends in Roatan there, Honduras, San Pedro Sula, La Chiva. Look at all the green on the map, guys. Wet weather will continue. This is an area that could have several inches of rain, over 100 millimeters in some spots over just the next few days. It'll be the same situation for our friends in Costa Rica and Panama. Again, ample moisture just continuing to spiral in. We haven't really talked about this Central American gyre as of late, but there is still a broad spin over this area, and it's just more inherent lift in the atmosphere to provide us at least some better rain opportunities. Okay, ABC Islands, let's talk about it. Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. Again, is this going to be a significant amount of rain the next few days? No, but is the chance at least higher? Absolutely. Now, fresh east winds, 25, 30 miles an hour in some spots. Daytime highs that are still running 32, 33 degrees Celsius, but we're going to catch at least a few showers in this area, so I hope you guys are underneath that. Is everyone going to get some rain? No, but that opportunity will be there. Then the Bahamas. And again, this is a very interesting forecast for the Turks and the Caicos and the Southeast Bahamas. You're more impacted by the northern axis of that tropical wave. Nice south to southeast flow moves in for the Turks and Caicos and the Acklins up towards, again, places like Long Island and Exuma. Then as you get into the northern and northwest Bahamas overall, it's even wetter, but it's more focused by our stationary boundary sitting over central Florida. South winds still coming into it. Winds aloft at the mid-levels out of the west, nice wind convergence, and some heavier rain is possible in these areas. As a matter of fact, I mentioned the HRRR model earlier. Again, this is a nice high-resolution model in this part of the world, so let's take advantage of it. Let's take a look at the HRRR model for the central and the northwest Bahamas. It does sneak down to the southeast Bahamas as well, but it cuts off right around the Acklins. That's kind of its what we call domain. Again, a little bit more of a higher resolution model, so a little bit easier to pick out. It's going to be wet. It's going to be wet. It's going to be stormy. There's going to be what I call SLCs, scary looking clouds, very low bases to the clouds. And again, funnel clouds, overall water spouts are a potential. But as we go out over the next 48 hours, and that's all this model goes out, you can just see again with that south wind hitting that boundary to the north, 70% chance of rain or higher. And you can just see how wet it could be in all of these areas, right? So there you go. That's what I expect. So this is a great transition into your island by island rain chance, because we'll start off with the Northwest Bahamas at least through Saturday. And I got to be honest, I might be underneath the rain chance on Sunday, but I do expect that boundary to finally begin to fade and not be as much of a factor in the storm development. But still a 50% chance on Sunday. Central and Southeast Bahamas, again, very healthy through Saturday, 30 on Sunday. Turks and Caicos, better rain chances the next couple days, 30 on Sunday. Cuba's rain chances exceptionally high. Wet weather there, could be some localized flooding in some spots. Cayman Islands, 40 tomorrow, but 60 on Saturday. There's our big chance, but still 50 on Sunday. Again, it's going to be wet in Belize City, in San Ignacio, places like that, even down towards Roatan. Guatemalan coastline, 50, 70, 50 the next 3 days. Cancun and Cozumel, rain chances go up. Keep an eye out for that if you have weekend plans there. For Jamaica, 50% chance tomorrow and Saturday, still a 40% chance on Sunday. I mean, obviously this moisture is moving west, so kind of the farther east set to go, the rain chance begins to fall off a little bit quicker, but still very high rain chances. The Dominican Republic and Haiti the next couple days, 40 on Sunday. Puerto Rico, 50% chance tomorrow, does dry out a bit over the weekend. Same thing for our friends in the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and again, it starts to get hot again over the weekend with the drier air. Not much of a rain chance for Bermuda. And by the way, my friends in Bermuda, let us know how you guys are doing after Ernesto, and anyone who's been impacted by Ernesto. Let me know in the comment section below. There's still, again, a variety of issues from power and utility to structural damage. And we want to make sure that you guys know we're still thinking about you guys. So let us know how you're doing. Anguilla, 30% chance tomorrow, 40 Saturday, Sunday. St. Kitts and Nevis, about the same situation. And again, is there any huge maximum of rain chance through the Lesser Antilles in general for the next 3 days? No, but we're going to have those chances. So let's get you a downpour every afternoon to cool things off. What do you say? Wouldn't that be great news? Places like Antigua, Barbuda, Montserrat, Guadalupe, Dominica, right around a 40% chance, and then slightly lower in most spots on Sunday. Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we're all at about the same boat, okay? There's no real big area that I expect there to be much of a difference. There might be a little bit more consistent moisture to the south, but still not much more elevated of a rain chance. Barbados, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname and Guyana, 50% chance. You saw some of that heavier rain that I showed you there on the GFS model for Saturday and Sunday. Nueva Esparta with okay rain chances, and then the ABC Islands. Let's build that up to a better chance late Saturday, Sunday. Boy, I hope you guys get some of that rain. Again, fresh easterlies out there. Anything crazy with the wave heights? No, but again, Atlantic-facing islands or being on the Atlantic-facing side of those islands, just be aware it's going to be a fresh wind. Obviously, small craft going to want to exercise caution. Relatively quiet in the Gulf of Mexico, relatively quiet for portions of the Bahamas, sans, of course, the showers and storms in those areas. So European rainfall forecast over the next 7 days. Maximum still in the Northwest Bahamas, maybe 3 to 4 inches in a couple of spots, 75 to 100 millimeters. Still good rain overall, though, for most areas. Again, anywhere you get into those oranges, you're getting to about 2 inches of rain or higher. That's 50 millimeters. Then we get into those reds. Panama, Costa Rica, a fair amount of Central America and portions of the Yucatan. Now you're talking about 3, 4, but maybe even 5+ inches of rain. So 125 millimeters or even higher. And again, it's variety time in the Lesser Antilles, but these waves are moving fast too, and there continues to be some. Look, just because they're not developing into disturbances, tropical depressions, tropical storms, hurricanes, doesn't mean they're not going to have impacts on our area. So I want to highlight that as well. This is actually the wind, and let's loop that up here. And again, you'll see on these wind gusts, is there any big concentration of maximum here? No. Okay, but do you see that there's a lot of blues and greens? There's just solid easterlies continuing. And I mentioned the ABC Islands because the models are basically painting on 25 to 30 mile per hour winds in those areas. But that is something that's not extremely unusual for this time of the year either. Okay, so let's get into, again, a look at the tropics. I'm going to mention this every day, and there's a couple of reasons why. I mean, obviously we're in hurricane season, first of all, right? And as I mentioned in yesterday's video, you now have 2 actual organized systems. Both of those could have some impacts to Hawaii. That's in the Eastern Pacific, okay? Now, back in our area, again, things are still very quiet, and everything appears to be that way for at least the next 5 days, maybe longer than that. All right, and again, we've talked about several of the different factors that could come into play. There's a lot of discussion about that, but some of the cooler water off the African coastline is one of those. So the big question is, when does that turn and why? Well, overall, all conditions appear to be more favorable right at the end of the month. And I've shown you this before, but we'll go back over these again. This is the GFS model, kind of right at the end of August through the beginning of September. And you can just see there's more signals again that continue to paint on. Now, again, what I am looking for, right, to present to you guys is model run-to-run consistency. Does the GFS continue to signal that, right? And also, does the GFS and the European signal this at the same time, meaning that they're not just continuing to make development at like day 10 and then beyond, that they move that forward in time, right? So it's not just always the next day, it's still day 10. The next day after that, it's still day 10. And now we push further back into September because sometimes that could be convective feedback, or you want to call it a false flag, whatever. Longer range portions of these models can sometimes have those problems. But on both the GFS and the European model, they're still pretty consistent at right at the beginning of September, beginning to show more of this. Now, if they push it back to the next few days, we'll have to have that discussion. But still, everything points to, this time next week, we're talking a lot more about the potential at the end of August, early September. And again, these are the GFS ensemble members, 51 of those. The more lows and greens that we see, the more the ensembles are picking up on development. It's way too early to talk about when, where, and how strong, but it shows you that. European model is in the same situation. Again, right around September 1st, more of a signal for tropical activity, and it has not pushed it back farther in time for the most part, right? Again, if it were to just continue to develop day 10 and beyond, then we know we might have a problem with the actual model and what it's trying to produce. But with both the GFS and the European model still showing these signals, this is something we need to pay attention to. And again, on the European model, the ensemble products, again, more greens, more active weather. Now you see there's a fair amount of them in the Atlantic and then east of the Lesser Antilles. So this is the entire Atlantic basin. And this would be basically right at the start of September, literally a couple of hours, or actually just before here, the last day of August. But just to point this out, notice how there's a lot more development in the actual Atlantic basin. That is the big signal change to me, right? That it's not just trying to develop these in the Caribbean, but that the Atlantic has flipped to where it will support development in the Atlantic basin, what we call the main development region Atlantic, well before our area, okay? And that would be the biggest change that I would see out of all of this, right? Is that they're not just trying to develop these close to home, but that the Atlantic is back open for business as things will change around. We'll see how this plays out. We got time to look at that, right? But again, as we get 7 to 10 days from now, things could be changing a lot for that area. So we'll enjoy the quieter weather. We'll try and enjoy getting you some rain as well. And you can follow us across all social media, friends, and I appreciate that. Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. You want to send me a picture or video to use here on our videos. It's myMediaMundo@gmail.com. As always, you have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comments section below while you're down there. Again, thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. You have a great rest of your Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow with a weekend forecast. Until then, friends, have a great one, and I'll see you soon right here at Meteo Mundo.